All right, thanks, guys. We improved to 4-0 in our last four daily best play. Tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And that's a website that I operate that gives you premium daily sports picks beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. It's also going to improve our record to 6-1 straight up in our last seven in that same category. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a sec. But before we get into some more of that, let's go ahead and take a look at some Russian Liga Pro table tennis action. And we're going to start with Vaknin squaring off against Vlad Petrov, and that's going to be a 5:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Petrov has been victorious in 3 out of his last 4 matches, including a dominating 3-1 victory over Danila Andreev during that stretch. Petrov also beat Vaknin and Krokin during that span of victories. He's currently 5-3 straight up in his last 8 matches. Krokin, on the other side, really has struggled as of late, dropping his last 5 straight matches. He was also shut out by Danny Andreev, 3-0 during that span, along with a tough 3-2 loss to his opponent today, Vlad Petrov. Looks like a pretty good spot for Petrov backers here. Give me Vlad Petrov winning this one outright for some moneyline cash. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Wednesday's Russian Liga Pro table tennis action. Happy hump day to you. Right in the middle of the week. The weekend is right around the corner. Now, before we go ahead and move on with the program, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. Where once again we improved yesterday to 4-0 in our last 4 daily best play tier membership plays on that website. We're also 6-1 straight up in our last 7 daily best plays as well. Very good package for us right now. We do daily premium sports picks on that website beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Currently we have well over 675 members signed up and active on that page. Now you might be wondering, why would all those folks sign up to receive Patreon picks where they can get them right here for free on YouTube? And that's certainly a great point, a great concern. But there is a big problem with me handicapping every single game that's on the board, side and total. And the problem is this: if you were to go ahead and bet every single game that's on the slate that I put out here on YouTube, side and total, you're certainly guaranteeing yourself failure. And I know that sounds crazy, but you got to hear me out. If you're going to go ahead and bet every single game that's on the slate with your hard-earned money, it's certainly not a winning formula for success. And as a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp. They have a lot more money than you and I do combined to, be able to absorb that kind of action. And most important, the math becomes aggressively against you the more and more games you play like that, especially if you're playing every game that's offered. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you. I break it down and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage picks, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is here on YouTube, handicapping every single game that is on the board, side and total. And the good news is this: if you want to go ahead and check out my current Patreon record, you can access that right now. You can actually go ahead and do that for free at this moment. That record is located right on the homepage. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. I'll also include a link in the comments section below as well. And once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive back into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Alexey Irbil squaring off against Ilya Novakov, 5:30 p.m. showdown. Novakov's really struggled as of late, dropping 6 out of his last 7 matches. He was also shut out in his last 3 straight losses as well, including a 3-0 defeat at the hands of Alexey Irbil during that span. And speaking of Irbil, he's 4-3 straight up in his last 7 himself, including 2 shutout victories during that span. He's also beaten the likes of Menshikov, Novakov, and Kutuzov during those victories. Looks like a pretty nice spot for Irbil backers here. Give me Alexey Irbil getting the job done for some money line cash. Next contest, it is going to be Vlad taking on Danny Andreev, 6 p.m. Eastern start time. Andreev has been victorious in 3 out of his last 5, including a dominating 3-0 victory over Vlad 3-0 during that span. Andreev's also garnered himself marquee wins over the likes of Vlad Shahrukhov during his last handful of matches as well. Now Krokin on the other side, like I stated earlier, really struggling as of late, dropping his last 5 straight matches. He was also shut out by Danny Andreev 3-0 during that span, along with a tough 3-2 loss to Vlad Petrov. So looks like another troublesome spot here for Krokin. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Danny Andreev winning this one outright in convincing fashion. All right, next contest, it is going to be Ilya Novikov squaring off against Oleg Kutusov, 6 p.m. Eastern start. Kutusov's red hot right now, winning his last 3 straight matches. Even more impressive, 2 out of those 3 victories came by way of dominating shutouts. He destroyed Menshikov and Novikov during those victories. Now, Oleg's also been successful in 6 out of his last 8 matches as well, including wins against the likes of Irbil and Menshikov during that stretch. Meanwhile, Novikov on the other side, well, he's really struggling as of late, dropping 6 out of his last 7 matches. He was also shut out in his last 3 straight losses as well, including a 3-0 defeat at the hands of Alexey Irbil during that span. Another pretty bad spot here for Ilya, in my personal opinion. Give me Oleg Kutusov getting the job done on the money line. Next contest, it is going to be Alexander Dmitrovich Volkov facing off against Egor Menshikov, 6 p.m. start time. Menshikov's right in the middle of a 3-match win streak with 2 dominating shutout victories in his last 2 straight. He dominated Alex Volkov and Viktor Ivanov during those blowouts. Egor's also been victorious in 5 out of his last 8 as well, with 3 of those wins coming by way of shutout. Meanwhile, Volkov on the other side, well, he's really struggling with Menshikov in his last handful of matches. Matter of fact, Volkov is 0-3 straight up in his last 3 straight contests with Egor, including, once again, a 3-0 drubbing at the hands of his opponent, Egor Menshikov. Now, Alex has dropped 2 out of his last 3 matches. He's also been victorious in just 3 out of his last 8. Not a real promising spot for Volkov backers here. Give me Egor Menshikov getting the job done for some money line cash. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be the other Menshikov. I'm talking about Andrei Menshikov squaring off against Alexey Irbil in a 6:30 p.m. battle. Irbil has dropped 2 out of his last 3, including a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Oleg Kutusov during that span. He also lost to Ilya Novikov 3-1 during that span as well. He's taking on a Menshikov opponent who's 4-2 straight up on his side of things in his last 6, with a solid 3-0 shutout win against Ilya Novikov during that stretch. Menshi also defeated Oleg Kutusov during that span of victories as well. I like Andrei getting the job done in a close one. Give me Andrei Menshikov winning this one outright in a highly competitive matchup. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Vlad Shahrukhov taking on Vlad Petrov in a 6:30 p.m. showdown. Petrov has been victorious in 3 out of his last 4 matches, including a dominating 3-1 victory over Danila Andreev during that stretch. Petrov also beat Vaknin and Krokin during that span of victories. He's currently 5-3 straight up in his last 8 matches. Now, Shahrukhov on the other side is currently in the middle of a 4-match losing streak where he was shut out 3-0 against Vlad Krokin during that span. Now, Vlad's also dropped 5 out of his last 6 as well, including a tough 3-2 defeat at the hands of Petrov during that span. I got to lean Petrov in this spot here. Give me Vlad Petrov getting the job done in a close affair. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are currently 4-0 in our last 4 daily best plays. Shout out to Sareshta Gupta, Joseph Moylan, Brandon Saunders, Bill McMahon, Tanner Ivey, Kyle McGrath, Ryan Mass, Jesus Karakamunda, Also got to give a shout out to Edward Kelly, Goodnight Munchie, CJ Spiller, Ravi RK, Chi Yen Yu, Naeem Kuchkozer, Mike Willoughby, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Stephen Lewis. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.